No, you see, a lot of people don't realise the desperate importance of Wellington boots in Scottish culture. So this is designed to teach. Isn't for your wellies, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary, 'cause you would have a dose of the flu or even pleurisy if you didn't have your feet in your wellies. That was wonderful. Honest. Great, isn't it? When you're out walking in the country with a bird, and you're strolling o'er the fields just like a farmer's herd, and somebody shouts, "Keep off the grass!" and you think how absurd. Squelch, you find why farmers all wear wellies. If it wasn't for your wellies, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary, 'cause you would have a dose of the flu or even pleurisy if you didn't have your feet in your wellies. See that? We serious bears, fishermen and firemen, there's farmers and all. There's men out digging ditches and working in the snow. This country would grind to a halt and no a thing would grow if it wasn't for the workers in their wellies. If it wasn't for your wellies, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary, 'cause you would have a dose of the flu or even pleurisy if you didn't have your feet in your wellies. If it wasn't for your wellies, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary, 'cause you would have a dose of the flu or even pleurisy if you didn't have your feet in your wellies.
Up lies the doctor and the car comes down the loom and spears who you are. Stick out your tongue, cough, say 99. Let me feel your pulse. Hen, you're doing fine. All it's due for dinner at tea time, same again. And ask lungs a slipper and you'll be left to sling.
Tam O'Shanter by Robert Burns. When chatting bellies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy and getting through and unco happy, we think nah and the land Scot smells, the mosses, waters, slaps and stills that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky sullen dame, gathering her brews like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand honest Tam O'Shanter as he frae their night did canter. All dear, and near a tune surpasses for honest men and bonny lassies. Oh Tam, hadst thou been but so wise and ta'en thine wife's Kate's advice, she told the wheel there was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blethum that frae November to October, e market day thou wasna sober, the ilka melder with a miller, thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every knee gat caddle shoon, the smith and thee gat roaring fool, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, we drank with frickin' gin till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or capped to warlocks in the mark by Always old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it guards me grief to think how mony counsels sweet, how mony length and sage advices the husband frae the wife despises.
The elephant's a funny beast, a tail at either end, twa teeth as long as Bobbers pulls, nae waist he canna bend. When nae wind blows to cool the beast upon the breasted plain, the elephant if bats his left and starts a hurricane. The elephant if canna be sailor in her a flee. I think I'll write a letter and invite him to his tea.
2, 3.
Little lad age and my huggy dime, my joy, my pride, my huggy. My only beast I had nae me, and foul but I was huggy. The wee lang night we'd watch the fod, me and my faithful duggy. We heard naught but the roaring linn among the braes sae scruggy. But when the hillock cried frae the castle wall, the blitter frae the buggy, the tod replied upon the hill I trembled for my huggy. When day did dawn, cocks to craw, the morning it was foggy, and Uncle Ty clap o'er the dike and maisters killed my huggy.
The Puddock by John M.K. A puddock sat by the Lochan's brim, and he thought there was never a puddock like him. He sat on his hardies, he waggled his legs, and cocked as he glowered through the segs. The big seaweed crater was feeling that prude. He gaped at his moo, and croaked out loud. Gin you'd all like to see a right puddock, quo he, you'll never swear get better nor me. A families and wives and a well-plenished hame, we drink for my thrapple and meat for my wame. The lassies ain't thought me a fine strapping chiel, and I ken I'm a real bonny singer as well. I'm nae going to blow, but the truth I maun tell. I believe I'm the very McPuddock himself. A heron was hungry and needed to sup, so he nabbit the puddock and gobbled him up. Sin drunkled his feathers. A pear thing, quo he, but the puddock is nae fat as they used to be.
Pirates off the castle go week, week, week. Beans in the library get a wish, wish, wish. Cans of iron go squish, squish, squish. Snorri goes in for Norway and extra taste, taste, taste. Then you're skitting on your sledges doing the braes, braes, braes. The rain comes down, the bucket's out and it's weak. Your teeth fizzer from sweeties and it's squeak, squeak, squeak. You're out with pals all the time, it's blah, blah, blah. Anything wrong with no go right to school and tell your mother. Anything wrong with no go right, just carry on with mother.
Do you want me to go or stay?
No.
Stay!
Okay.
Enthusiasm is manner if we want like cheerleader. Go. Ready?
Go!
I'm a cat, the strangles rats, I need an education.
elephant a funny beast, a tail a other end, 20 as long as Barbara's wall. Near she can bend, with knees both schools of beast. Upon the burst of flame, the elephant just flaps the flags and says a hurricane. The elephant a canny beast, he was not heart of flea. I think I write a letter in the button, see I see.
You carry flag pieces with a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. That his brother Caesar Julius the Greek is their pan. The odds against the reaching it for 1991. On the skyscraper rain and on the 18th flare. But I'm no more to play anywhere. But since in the tea castle wasting away, for I'm getting one less meal every day. Hey, carry flag pieces to a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. And the brother Caesar Julius the victim trainer man. The odds against the reaching it for 1991. On the first day my mommy was a piece of hole in the spring. It was sketchy with the windy and went up and stayed a tune. You're up in 27 years and it comes back and it is late. Come on, Mr. Let you walk west, you're kidding us such a way. You carry flying pieces to a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. If it's brother Jesus Julius the victor's trainer flag. The odds against the reaching it for 1991. On the second day, my mommy thought she'd try to answer again. It wasted as the pilot of a smoke flying clean. As he split the trees from the feet right through and took on. The clouds and grace have got me, we have to send children on. You carry flying pieces to a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. And his mother, Caesar Julius, the greatest trainer man. The odds against the reaching it from 1991. On the third day, my mommy thought she'd try another road. The Salvation Army light was big and low. On the Christian soldiers was a tree we should have played. But the new band was playing on a piece of mile away. You carry flying pieces to a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. And his brother Jesus Julius the greatest trainer man. The odds against the reaching it for 1991. Now we're written our teapots by asking for some aid. And all the ladies in Castlemilk have won the peace brigade. But when he marched in George's Square demanding civil rights, like playing in a bulldozer, he's like that. You carry flying pieces to a 20-story flag. 700 hungry wings will testify to that. If it's not our Jesus Julius, the victim trainer man. The odds against the reaching it for 1991.
Up drives the doctor and his big car. Comes in the room and spears who you are. Stick out your hand. Cough. C99. 99. Let me feel your pulse. Hang your damn fine. Oranges for dinner at tea time. Same again. And aspirin for supper. And you'll be right to feet.
I went at the castle going weak. Parents and the library getting weak. Cancer and bird goes squish. Snobble and Fenori if you tease. Go skidding on a sledge, he's doing the breeze. Rain come down, the bucket and it's weak. You take the say for seasons and it's great. It was bells all the time, blather. And anything wrong and no going right, just
go and tell your mother. If anything's wrong, you're not going to reach the carry in one puddle.
Steady.
Up in the morning's no for me, up in the morning early. When all the hills are covered with snow, I'm sure it's winter fairly. Could blaws the wind from east to west, the drift is driving sourly. Say loud and sorrows, I hear the blast, I'm sure it's winter fairly. The birds sit chittering in the thorn, a day they fare but sparely. Alang the night feet in the morning, I'm sure it's winter fairly.
Sick Life is Really Had by Robert Burns. Willie wrestled to what on tweed the spot they called it like come doddy. Well, I was a laugh like a cause don't know clue anybody. He had a wife as dude and didn't know Tinkler Mary was her mother. Sick Life is Really Had, I wouldn't give a button for her. She had a knee, the cat has twine of very colour. 5 was Stephen by a stump. A clapper tongue with Diva Miller. Whisking beard about her maw, her nose and her chin nae threatened either. Sick Life is Really Had, I wouldn't give a button for her. She's bow howdy, she's him shinned. A limping leg, a hand by shorter. She's twisted right, she's twisted left. The balance fingernail like water. She has a lump upon her breast, the twin upon her shoulder. Sick Life is Really Had, I wouldn't give a button for her. Old bronze by dingo sits and may lift her face a washing. But Willie's wife nae said trig, she dites her brunsy wee a hushing. Her belly knees like melon creels. Her face would file the Logan water. Sick Life is Really Had, I wouldn't give a button for her.
The Puddock by John M. Kay. A puddock sat by the Lochlan's brim, and he thought there was never a puddock like him. He sat on his haunches, he waggled his legs, and cocked his head as he glowered through the segs. The big seaweed creature was feeling that prude. He gaped at his moo and he croaked out loud. Gin you'd all like to see a right puddock, quo he, you'll never I swear to get better nor me. A families and wives and a whale planner's tame. We drink from my frapple and eat for my wame. The lassies I fucked me a fine strapping shield, and I ken I'm a real bonny singer as well. I'm no going to blow, but the truth I won't tell. I believe I'm the very McPuddock himself. A hare was hungry and needed to sup. So he nabbed the puddock and gobbled her up. Soon wrinkled his feathers, a pair fine quo he, but puddocks isn't as fat as they used to be.
Cross sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. Three cross sat upon a wall on a cold and frosty morning. First craw was greeting for his maw, greeting for his maw, greeting for his maw. First craw was greeting for his maw on a cold and frosty morning. Three cross sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. Three cross sat upon a wall on a cold and frosty morning. The second craw fell and broke his jaw, fell and broke his jaw, fell and broke his jaw. Third craw fell and broke his jaw on a cold and frosty morning. Three crows sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall, sat upon a wall. Three crows sat upon a wall on a cold and frosty morning. The first crow could reach
swish, swish, swish. Cans of iron blue going squishy, squishy, squish. Football in the poison getting dusty, dusty, douche. Snowballs and finogling, that's your tease, tease, tease. Go skidding on the sledges in the breeze, breeze, breeze. The rain comes down the buckets and it's weep, weep, weep. The teeth are served with sweeties and it's greet, greet, greet. You look with cows all the time, it's buera, buera, buera. And then wrong and no gun right, just go and tell your mother. And then wrong and no gun right, just carry in my mother.
Raindrops, sniffing no stains. Granny told her she would come, she felt in the veins. Raindrops, sky time and splayed, gathering in a million till, and birds roll down in space. Raindrops, battery and pain, bash yourselves in Smith friends, dinner come again.
The Puddock by John M.K. A puddock sat by a Lockins brim, and he thought there was never a puddock like him. He sat on his hurdies, he waggled his legs, and cocked his head as he glanced through the sails. The big seaweed crater was feeling that blood. He gaped at his mouth, and he cocked out loud. Can you all like to see a light puddock? Oh, you'll never, I swear, get the better nor me. Our families and wives in a wheel-pledged hame would drink for my thrapple and meat for my whale. The lasses I thought me a fine strapping shield, and I ken I'm a real born singer as well. I'm not going to blow, but the truth I won't tell. I believe I'm the where I met Puddock himself. A heron was hungry and needed to sup, so he nabbed at the puddock and gobbled him up. Then wrinkled his feathers, poor thing cocky, but Puddock isn't fat as they used to be.
Up in the morning, snow for me. Up in the morning early, when all the hills are covered with snow. I'm sure it's winter fairly. Cold blows the wind from east to west. The drive is driving slowly. Say loud and shrills, I hear the blast. I'm sure it's winter fairly. The birds sit chittering in the thorn. A day they fear but sparely. And lungs not free in the morning. I'm sure it's winter fairly.
When Chapman Billies leave the street and youth and neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nap and getting foon and happy, we think na and the Langscott smiles, the mossies waters, slaps and sighs that lie between us and our hame, where sits our silky sullen dame, gain our brew like gain storm, nursing our wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand honest Tam O'Shanter as he frae airy night did canter all dare. One nara tune surpasses for honest men and bonny lassies. O Tam, has thou but been sae wise and ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice? She told thee weel there was a skellum, a blethering and blustering drunken blellum, that frae November to October, ae market day thou wasna sober. Thou come Edward by the miller, thou sat as lang as thou had siller. Every naig was called a show on the Swift and thee get rat and foon. That Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank with Kirk and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later soon thou would be found deep Drundundun, or catch by warlocks in the murk by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gives me great to think how many counsel sweets, how many lengthened sage advices the husband for the wife despises.
When drinking in the river Nile, I met a muckle crocodile. He flicked his tail, he blinked as he then bared his ugsome teeth at me. Says I never saw the like. Couldn't your teeth won't be afraid? What's there a bedlam day here of a brush a set of teeth like they? The crocodile said, none of all, I never brush my teeth at all. A wee bird with them at the sea and saved me when you did the feet. Up drives the doctor in his bed car. Comes in the room and feels who you are. Stick out your tongue, cough. Say 99. Let me feel your pulse. Hey, you damn fine. Orange for dinner at tea time, same again. And aspirin for supper, and you'll be rich and fine.
We are going to school. Shorty the Johnny, a decent wee man is a rule. It's pleasing to tell what the rhymer has spelled, and he asked every way in the still. Did you find the red yo-yo, red yo-yo, red yo-yo? Did you find the red yo-yo with a wee yellow string? The winds left up pencils and papers and stencils to knock on the doors all over. And as they were rapping and ringing and chattering, they asked all the folk of the tune. Did you find the red yo-yo, red yo-yo, red yo-yo? Did you find the red yo-yo with a wee yellow string? The chorus soon learned, and they were concerned, that other mortals a sea. The whole of force was about it, of course, and they went on the telly and cried. Did you find the red yo-yo, red yo-yo, red yo-yo? Did you find the red yo-yo with a wee yellow string? All over the country, the common and gentry were watching the TV screen. Things really got concern when President Johnson seeked an appeal for the Queen. The wires were trembling when he phoned the Kremlin to ask about Annie's yo-yo. But Kosygin agreed for the greatest of Sweden, Siofonio or Chen Strativichen, whatever it is. And Peking and Paris and all in the bars, the people they said high and low, till finally Annie announced that her granny had put her another yo-yo. And it was a red yo-yo, red yo-yo, red yo-yo, red yo-yo, with a wee yellow string.
hill and glen that stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. The hills are bare now, and autumn leaves lie thick and still. Your luck that's lost now, was so near the hill that stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain. We can still rise then and be the nation again that stood against him. Proud Edward's